I want to share a story of triumph with you. And like all good stories of triumph, it begins with a story of the dip into the pit of despair, as I often call it. I've actually had many dips into the pit of despair in my life at this point. 51. Hi, I'm Angel, by the way. And I just recently realized that I'm autistic. Some of the people who've known me a while have said that seems obvious and aren't surprised, and others have denied it. And my own mother hasn't denied it, but doesn't seem to find that relevant. I suspect she is also an autist. Anyway, the point that I'm getting at is that for 51 years, I've had many dips into what I call the pit of despair without really understanding most of the time why or how I was getting there. I want to add a pinky finger asterisk that most of the time is a lot of the time. There are certainly times that are like everyone has times that we lose someone or have sustained injuries or illnesses or catastrophes, traumas, and those naturally take some time to heal from, take some time to alchemize, and those have been relatively easy for me to understand, as easy as as the next person, and as impossible. However, this huge basket of dips into despair, rage, confusion, people shutting me out of their life without me understanding why. I was incarcerated as a teenager a couple of times. And at the time, I think I thought I understood why, because I was a bad person, behaving badly. And I think that's probably still accurate. By societal standards, when we behave badly, society at large doesn't know what to do with bad behavior. And so it tends to dismiss it or ignore it or lock it up or drug it or kill it or exile it, try to fix it, all sorts of things, right? The triumph of this story is in self-awareness, is in my realization that so many of these dips are simply the result of me being wired differently. And earlier, not very long before this realization, I was working on a version of the Chicken Little story. And that comes to mind now, because my understanding of that story is that Chicken Little thinks the sky is falling because she doesn't understand the full context of what's happening. And with a broader perspective, it's easy to see that the sky isn't really falling. And I think about my own despair and my own confusion. In that context, it's easy to feel triumphant with this newfound understanding, this newfound awareness. It's like a series of dominoes, I've said, all these moments of my life, so many memories click together in this new way, this new sense of understanding and logic. Oh, it's because I'm autistic. there's a triumph in that. I'm sure there will still be struggles, no doubt. I mean, what is life without mystery? And in our quest to figure out mystery, many of us, certainly me, have become quite practiced at creating suffering for ourselves. I think that's probably at the heart of what I'm really trying to get out here at is the popular hero's journey story, which I and so many of you were raised with, infused with, perhaps completely unconsciously, maybe living, designing your life with this underlying idea of manifesting the hero's journey. The hero's journey has inherent in it the quest, the dip, the despair, the overcoming of hardship. And I'm not sure that's the only way to get to triumph. In fact, I think it's kind of an immature way that humans have been exploring for quite some time in human history. And I really like the notion. It just got brighter in here. Did you see that? I really like the notion that perhaps the next level triumph of the long-standing hero's journey story, which is triumph after much struggle, many iterations of struggle, dips into the pit of despair. We all have our own unique stories of that, I do believe. I think that perhaps there's a broader triumphant story going on, which is again the same story, right? That in humanity's manifestation of struggles, embodiment of that kind of story, we might start to realize that the struggle is made up and that resistance really is futile, and that with enough perspective and enough hindsight, there will inevitably come a time when we can look back at this point of our evolution and smile and marvel and perhaps even delight at how it all fits together perfectly, much like so much struggle and strife and misunderstanding in my life that was all part of me coming to this epiphany that I'm autistic. And now, moving forward, however it unfolds from here is still a great mystery. I don't know. And that is a beautiful thing. That's the end of this chapter of this story for now. Let me know what you think. I'm ever exploring new ways of being. I hope you are too, because, I mean, seems like a marvelous thing that we get to in this life. I thank you for stopping by. Check out the description if you want to find ways of supporting me. And I thank you if you do. Let's see if I can get unblurry-eyed long enough to say, stay free.